The telecom sector is at the heart of India's digital growth story, and the Ministry of Communication is steering policy through a phase of intense competition and rapid technological change. And joining me today is Minister of Communication, Jyotiraditya Scindia. Mr. Scindia, thank you very much for joining us today on ET Now. To begin with, sir, I want to get your perspective on the assessment of the Indian telecom sector. You have two strong telecom players. The third one has a 49% stake from the government, and the fourth is a public sector unit. How do you see the entire telecom sector?
So, Sanjeet, it's a pleasure to be with you on ET Now. Let me take this opportunity to inform all our viewers through you that the Indian telecom story is a very, very robust success story for the world to emulate. We have grown in the last 11 years from a market of 900 million subscribers to close to over 1.2 billion subscribers. On the internet space, we have grown from 250 million to crossing over 1 billion internet subscribers. As far as broadband is concerned, we've grown from 60 million over 15 times to about 945 million subscribers. And all this growth, mind you, has come at a scorching pace of reduction in costs. A call per minute used to cost 50 paise in 2014. It's now come down to 0.03 paise, which is a 97% reduction in costs. If you look at 1 GB of data, it would cost 279 rupees. Today it costs downwards of 9 rupees per GB, which is a 94% reduction in costs. If you look at it in dollar terms, you're looking at roughly about 10 cents per GB, where the world average is close to about $2.50 a GB. So we are operating at approximately 4% of international costs. And therefore, India is heralded to be the data center of the world, the telecom, the largest, we are the second largest telecom market, going to be the largest telecom market in the world. And this is the backbone, or if you will, the highway, based on which open architecture platforms like UPI run so efficiently. The fact that you can have upwards of 20 crore transactions per month, on UPI, 270 crore transactions per year, leading to almost $4 trillion being exchanged on UPI on an annual basis. The largest digital payment system in the world, 46% of digital transactions occurring in India of the world. That's where the telecom market has gone under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. And to add to that, all envisioned by him, the latest feather in the cap, the fact that we have produced our own 4G telecom stack. There were only 4 countries in the world that belonged to this elite club: South Korea, China, Sweden, and Finland. 5 companies from 4 countries. India today is the 5th country to enter that club. And that by itself talks about the innovation capability in India. That 4G digital stack has been rolled out across 100,000 sites, inaugurated by the Prime Minister on the 23rd of September this year. And we are looking to increase that network as we go. The final point I'd like to make is that India is probably the only country in the world that has robust 4 players that are supplying telecom service to every consumer in the largest telecom market in the world. There are very few countries in the world that can boast of 4 TSPs supplying the service. As you mentioned, we have Jio and Airtel and we have Vodafone and BSNL all together supplying the service in the market. So India is headed for even more ambitious times on this digital highway and becoming probably the super highway of the world in the years to come under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi.
You're right, sir. From a market's point of view, what the market wants to understand from you is what is your view on the Vodafone issue. The Supreme Court has allowed you to reassess the entire AGR dues. Where are we on that front?
So yes, you're right. The Supreme Court has passed a judgment vis-a-vis Vodafone. We are at this point of time examining that judgment, looking at what the possibilities are within the department. Once we come up with a proposition at the right time when the government takes a decision, you will be informed.
Sir, I understand that your policy has been that the government will not increase the stake in Vodafone beyond 49%. What does that leave the government? Means, is there going to be a kind of moratorium or an interest-free loan debt that would be given to, or the AGR dues will be converted into an interest-free debt for Vodafone? Are these options on the table?
So, as I mentioned to you earlier, number one, the government is not going to raise its stake beyond 49%, and there's a very clear rationale for that. The minute you raise your stake beyond 49%, the company becomes a PSU, and that's not the intent nor the aim of Government of India. Having said that, within that rubric of not extending your equity stake based on the judgment of the Supreme Court, the DOT today is evaluating what are those options. Once we take a call on those options and the government endorses the path forward, you will be informed. At this point of time, I cannot divulge more than that.
Sir, being the largest shareholder of Vodafone, what is your assessment of the financial health of Vodafone?
So Vodafone has healthy cash flows. It has an EBITDA. They've also raised almost 20,000 crores in an FPO a couple of months ago. Their leverage minus the AGR dues and the spectrum dues is close to nothing. And so there are tremendous possibilities for Vodafone going forward. They also service close to about 20 crore customers, which is a very large size of the market. And therefore, we do believe that there is a tremendous amount of potential going forward for Vodafone. Having said that, they do need to incur a fair degree of capex to be able to sustain their network. And that is what is on the anvil based on the FPO proceeds that they have raised going forward as well.
Sir, my final question to you on Vodafone before I move to the industry questions as well. They have a capex in play, but they're not able to raise bank financing because of the kind of debt they have on the books, nearly 2 lakh crores, a large part of it being dues for spectrum and AGR basically. Do you have a timeline, basic timeline of by when do we have a decision on this?
So as I mentioned to you before, Sanjeet, this is WIP, work in progress within the department. Needless to say, under my watch, whether it is this or other issues that require us to play the role of a facilitator across the multiple stakeholders in the ecosystem, be it ISPs, TSPs, telecom equipment manufacturers, research bodies, Bharat 6G Alliance, and so on and so forth. Alacrity and moving quickly, but, and I add that caveat very strongly, but with sound due diligence is the way I operate. And therefore, at the appropriate time, as I mentioned to you, you will be informed.
Sir, coming to the industry, you mentioned the fact that we are one of the lowest in terms of rates for voice telephony and for data. And the industry is in a stage where they have to scale it up going forward. And the view is of the industry is that they will have to increase the prices for data, because that's not sustainable. It doesn't give them enough cash flows for future growth. Is the government aligned with that kind of thought?
So this is I mean, I'm surprised, Sanjeet, that someone who's an advocate of free market such as yourself is asking me this question. You know better than I that this is a deregulated sector. Tariffs are under forbearance, right? And that is not my responsibility to manage the corporate strategy of different telcos. Every telco will have its own individual strategy, and that's for them to decide. The customer must get value for his or her money. And as I mentioned to you, we are the lowest tariff today in the world. If you look at the tariff index, which is published by the global source, today India in that tariff index is one of the lowest at 1.49. Just to give an example, the US is at 49. Countries in Europe are between 28 to 35. And we are at 1.49 for a basket of telecom services such as voice and data bunched together. And so we are one of the cheapest in the world. And at the same time, companies need to justify the huge amount of capex that they have done. For example, in 5G, companies have invested close to over 3.5 lakh crores. We've had the fastest 5G rollout in the world. In a period of 22 months, we've laid out close to about 450,000 towers. And along with that, we have today close to about 38 crore customers on our 5G network, which will grow to 43 crores to 45 crores by the end of next year, and will probably grow to 100 crores as per projections by 2030. So India is on a very, very fast capex ramp up on the telecom sector, which is unique in the world. I happened to visit the World Mobile Congress, and if you look at many countries across the world, there is no investment that's happening on their networks because the return on capital employed doesn't justify that. India is on the other end of the trajectory as far as investment and capex, as far as telecom is concerned. There's a huge amount of capex that's happening, which is extremely important to ensure the robustness of our digital highway.
Sir, one of the key pillars of our digital growth story is BSNL, and you've been able to revive BSNL with cash infusion, putting in new technology, 4G deployment which has come in. How is BSNL now shaping up?
So the 4G execution has been on track. We've put together, out of the 100,000 towers, we've erected and commissioned close to about 97,000 towers, which was inaugurated by the Prime Minister in late September this year. Our customer base from last June has grown from 8.55 crores to almost about 9.26 crores, which is close to almost a 9.5% growth over a little more than a year in terms of our customer base. Third, for the first time probably in the history of BSNL, we are holding quarterly reviews with all our chief general managers across our 32 circles in terms of looking at revenue projections from our different business verticals. And finally, if you look at H1 results this year compared to H1 results last year, we've had close to about a 16% growth in top line and almost a 43% growth in EBITDA, our operating profit. Last year, we closed at 5,139 crores of operating profit, and we are forecasting, hopefully, close to about 6,500 to 7,000 crores of operating profit this year.
What is the kind of strategy or outlook that the government has with respect to BSNL now deploying 5G? We have been able to successfully put up 4G. The next the step for the national carrier.
I don't want to put the cart before the horse, Jeet, and I think it's extremely important to first of all focus on 4G execution. We've laid out 100,000 towers. We are making sure that the synchronicity between the core and the RAN is perfected. We are also have an ambitious plan of laying out another 22,000 towers over the next 6 to 8 months. Hopefully also trying to re-enter the Mumbai and Delhi cosmopolitan area in terms of key markets. And once all of this is perfected, only then will BSNL look at conversion to 5G. I think it's important, as you know well, as far as execution is concerned, the devil always lies in the details, and it's important to stitch that network together. We're also petitioning to the Ministry of Finance for an expansion of the network beyond the 100 plus the 22,000 towers on 4G. And once that robustness is in place, then we look at also switching to 5G, which, by the way, should not be very far away. But I would hesitate in giving an immediate timeline on that.
Mm-hmm. Sir, one
Thank
of the
you.
key.
I think,
so my final question to you.
I want to thank ET for that
So
time.
my final question to you is with respect to the satellite communication there. A lot of players are meeting you. Is there an update on that?
So as far as SATCOM is concerned, there are two issues. One is in terms of the administered pricing mechanism, which the TRAI is still to forward their views on. And the second is as far as the AGR is concerned. In the interim, the testing amount of spectrum has been given to all three players, OneWeb and Reliance, as well as Starlink. They're working on fulfilling their requirements from a security angle, from the setting up the domestic gateways angle, and in parallel we are working on the spectrum side. Hopefully in the next couple of months we should have both their ramp up in terms of their execution on their commitments, as well as our final version with regard to spectrum pricing, and then we're all systems go. Thank you very much.